What is going on, guys? I'm super excited to do this call today. I've been using Helium 10 for the past, honestly, 8 to 10 months in my private label journey, and I've been meaning to make a call on this topic going over Cerebro and Magnet, the two tools I probably use the most, and honestly, the two tools that everyone should be using from start to beginning, regardless of experience or regardless of if you're 1 day into your launch or 10 months into your launch. And we're going to talk about why you should use them, how to use them, what I look at personally, which could be different from how maybe other people use it. And we're going to kind of dive into both Cerebro and Magnet. So without further ado, obviously there's going to be a special surprise, which is going to be a 35% off discount that Helium 10 was, super nice to offer to our community and my followers and stuff like that. So this is a limited time link. It is in the description below. But before we get started, I just wanted to share that with you guys. So today we're going to dive in. I'm going to give you pretty much just an unedited, raw, off the dome type, search of a product that I have in my head, and how we can kind of use that to reverse search, find new ideas for new product types, or simply just understand the keyword research and the competitor research between these two tools. And then that's pretty much going to be it for today's call. So something I've been seeing a lot, and it's already been pretty viral, was CMOS. So if you've been using FastMOS, or if you've been using Helium 10, or just been in the private label space, you would have noticed that CMOS has been something that's been popping. So we're going to kind of take a step back, as in the eyes of a consumer looking to launch maybe something on private label. So we should always be on TikTok, maybe for 5-10 minutes a day, looking for different trends and stuff like that. So CMOS, I actually saw this months ago when it started to blow up, and I was like, you know what? Could be a good idea, could be a bad idea. Didn't really know much about it, so I didn't really look into it. I didn't want to rush my private label, journey, so I took my time. And now it's a really big topic. A lot of people are doing it in these gummies or jarred versions, and some other types of grocery and gourmet food versions. So there's many ways you can go about it. So that's tip number one. You can always pivot and do a somewhat relatable idea. So gummies was a cool way of going about it. Some people are doing a powder. Some people are doing, some sort of, food, raw CMOS that you put on your food. But you could do flavored versions. So there's so many ways you can kind of go about it. So number one, when you're looking through social media, you're going to want to act like a consumer. You want to be studying these products. You want to basically get an eye for what's going viral and then be quick to it. Because some of these virality things, end up with 20 billion competitors. But if you're one of the first ones to market and you can dominate that initial influx of customers and get a lot of reviews, that's where you kind of will blow up, essentially. But obviously, applying affiliates and other stuff like that will be a good way of kind of starting. But we're going to dive into this topic. Enough going on tangents. But that's pretty much how you're going to go about it. Just look at different terms, and we're going to find relatable terms off of these terms. So I looked up CMOS. We're actually going to use the Magnet tool first, and we're going to type in CMOS, which I've already kind of went through before, and it's really cool. I'm going to load it from history, but usually you would run it. It would take maybe a minute to run a keyword search on this. What Magnet does is basically it's a reverse keyword research tool. So basically it says right here, find high volume search terms that are relevant to the entered keyword. So if you think CMOS is a cool idea and you want to see maybe terms that are related to it, you might find other topics related to it. So number one, Magnet tool is one of my favorite tools in here, and we're going to get into Cerebro after. But basically what I like doing is I kind of like filtering out the garbage up front. 1,000 search volume, 1,000 IQ score. IQ score basically just means search volume divided by competitors. So if it's a really high number, that means there's very little competitors and really high search volume. Keyword sales, let's just filter out the garbage, at least 50 sales on the specific keywords. And we're going to come down to 128 filtered keywords. I'm going to move myself over here. So the number one thing you should be looking into is obviously high IQ score. So either high IQ basically just means there's a lot of search volume relative to the competitors, or there's absolutely zero competitors and the search volume is an average amount. Now, I like, just filtering it to 1,000. Some people like putting 5,000 and narrowing it down. But just because it's 5,000 doesn't mean like you're really going to narrow it down in half. Like if you go back down to search volume 2,500 for both of these, you're still going to find a lot of good results because yes, at the end of the day, 2,500 is still a lot of search volume, but we need to make sure it's actually converting and has a good IQ score. So that's why we put the IQ score of 2,500. I don't know why it went down, but here's the first thing. These are just spitting out words that are related to your topic. So Miracle Moo is a brand, Coconut Cult is a brand. So these are things that you would just automatically delete. Goalie, it's a brand. Ashwagandha, it's a relatable term. If it has a similar effect, you would want to put this in your campaigns. You would want to, probably put this in your potential listings, bullet points, titles, if that ingredient is in your item. Now, if it's not in your item, it's still relatable, because if it does a similar purpose, like ashwagandha and maybe magnesium, they both help with anxiety or help with sleep, you would want to basically check off these keywords and put them into a list. So basically what this list is I have multiple lists. I have a PPC list, which you can include branded keywords in PPC. You cannot include branded keywords, the ones I just deleted, in listings, titles, bullet points, because that's against policies for Amazon. So I have a PPC one, I have a listing titles, and then I have a bullets one. The listing and title is the most important. That's why there's minimal keywords in here, because those are the words you want. You basically want your hero keywords, essentially, and your title and your bullets and in your description. Those are the words you want to rank on the most relatable terms. And the way you could find the most relatable terms is when we go to pretty much the Cerebro tool. But let's dive a little bit further into this and kind of go through just some of these columns and how I think of them. But at the end of the day, keyword sales, IQ, and search volume are super key. You want to make sure they convert. Search volume could be super high, but if the percentage of keyword sales relevant to the search volume is super low, then it might be something you don't want to do or don't want to include in PPC. You don't want to waste your money on that. Number two, you want to see the trends. Trends are always good. It'll tell you if something's popping, if it's going to continue to go up. Looking at Google Trends is also very good on keyword terms. Suggested PPC. This is very important. You can look at right now, Primal Queen, which is a brand, has a 3-word PPC bid. So if you want to go against your competitor and run ads against your competitor, it's going to cost $3 a click. So that's something to keep an eye on. But now these words like CMOS and ashwagandha, it's $2.50 a click. $1.98 a click isn't that bad. Honestly, anything under $2 is not the end of the world, but I'd try to keep it under $1.50. This is a brand. So like if you're running PPC against a brand, you better hope that that product is identical or somewhat relatable, because most people, when they type in a brand's name, they're going to purchase from that brand. So that's why sometimes, you don't want to even put it in your PPC. But sometimes if it's relatable, it's worth it. But let's just look. It's pulling up all these related terms. Look at all these products that you can look into and do another search on Magnet. CMOS, cool. Ashwagandha, cool. If you didn't know what ashwagandha was, now you can look into it and see if there's potential for there. Rise is a company. Vitamin C, Shilajit's already a popping product that everyone's doing. Soursop bitters is a popping product that people are doing. IQ score is super, super high. But remember, IQ score could be because of viral trends that are happening right now. So you do want to do some data. You want to look it up. You want to check, Google Trends, like I said. CMOS gel, that's a cool one. Black seed oil, that's a cool one. Bee pollen, that's a cool one. Spirulina, seaweed. There's so many other things that have high IQ scores that you want to potentially X this out and try it. But we're not going to go through it a billion times, but that's basically what I'm looking at. You want to look at volume trends. You can exclude certain brand names. Like for me, I exclude all these brand names and certain words because I want to make sure it relates to my product. Title density basically means how many products have that keyword phrase on page 1 of the search results. So for example, title density, no one has Primal Queen on the first page of search results for this keyword. So basically, ashwagandha has 48 of them. So ashwagandha is pretty related to CMOS. Looks like they have the same amount. So all 48 are on it. 47. Rise is on 5 of them. So there's 5 Rise products probably on that search. All of these, So maybe something you could do is maybe do a title density of 1 to 5 and see which keywords have very low competitors on it. It's mainly going to be brands, but you might find some other stuff like CMOS, Black Seed. Boom. Pretty cool. True CMOS. There's a bunch of other stuff. CMOS pills, Black Seed oil. There's a lot of stuff you can venture into. And if you can relate to those keywords and rank on them before other people do, it's the better. So now we're going to take it to Cerebro. We went through pretty much all of this stuff. There's some other stuff in here that I would usually go to. But you can also export this. You can export this as well in case you find good keywords. But remember, you could always add these keywords to a list by clicking here and doing so. So like I said, I would do one for titles. I would do one for your bullet points and description. And then I would probably do a third one for PPC, because PPC can have branded keywords. Your titles, bullets, and descriptions cannot. Remember that. Take note of that as well. So what we're going to do is basically go to Cerebro. What Cerebro is a reverse ASIN search tool that you could plug in up to 10 competitors. Why? Because you're going to want to see what your competitors are ranking on. So let's say you find a category of a product that you want to launch. So for example, we're going to launch CMOS. When you're launching a product, you want to go against people that have 20 billion reviews. You want to go against maybe an up-and-coming product. So these are all 700, 4,000 is not bad. This is obviously the one that's been going crazy on TikTok, but for the sake of this, pretend this only had maybe 5,000 reviews. So there would be only a couple, two top dogs like this. So ABA first most click, blah, blah, blah. You want to ignore the sponsored because those are a little bit of outliers. But you can see they're all imitating this brand, similar, all kind of similar products. So what we're going to do is we're going to click this one, most clicked. We're going to go to our Cerebro tool, and we're going to plug in this. We're going to plug in this one. We're going to plug in this one. And I'm not sure if these are sponsored. I don't think these ones are sponsored. But basically, you want to avoid the sponsored ones because they are a little bit of outliers. You want to find just the best sellers. So these are all sponsored. You want to take this one, ABA most clicked. Amazon Brand Analytics is what ABA stands for. And what we're going to do is take as many of the top competitors with a lot of reviews. 3,000 sold. That's a good one. This is another big one. And we're going to take a few more. One more. Yeah, let's just do all 10. Screw it. And what we're doing basically is putting in the top competitors relative to this product. So as a normal buyer, let's just do these. That's fine. As a normal person going through looking for a product that you want to launch on Amazon, you want to find stuff that doesn't have a crazy amount of reviews. There's not top dogs. There's not retail brands that are dominating you and outbidding you on PPC because they can afford to, do those losses. What you want to do is kind of enter a category that's up and coming, or maybe do a spin-off of that. So if your product's a different formula or way better branding, or maybe serves a different purpose, then that's fine. You can go against some brands with some high reviews. But that's basically what we want to do. So what you're going to do is basically plug top 10 competitors. We only did 9 for this, but that's fine. And to Cerebro, and it's going to pull all keywords that they rank on, basically. All their top performing keywords. And if you're launching into a product that maybe has this keyword or is relative to this keyword, this is what you want to do. So if you're launching a magnesium supplement or maybe a Shilajit supplement, you're going to want to look at the top Shilajit competitors. So you would just type in on Amazon, Shilajit supplements, Shilajit products, Shilajit gummies, and you would want to do Cerebro searches for all those, find keywords, add it to your keyword folders, and then run those into your titles, your bullet points, your descriptions, your A+ content backend, your generic keywords, so much more that you can add these keywords to. So you want to find as much relatable stuff possible. So what we're going to do, we got all of it. Let's just put 2,500 to filter some stuff out. 50 for keyword sales, just for now. This is going to kick out a lot of the bullshit, in my personal opinion. And we're going to see. We're going to get 766. So let's go back. What we're going to do now is add one of my favorite filters that someone just showed me recently, and I've been using this a lot, is ranking competitors. So what this means is the number of competitor ASINs that are ranked for the given phrases that they show you below. So basically, out of all the keywords below, out of these 9, let's say out of 7 of the 9 that are above, I want a minimum of 7 of them to be on these keywords, ranking on these keywords. So what you're going to notice is that when we apply this, it's going to filter them down. So now we have what I call hero keywords, ones that are super related to your competitors as well as the product you're launching yourself. These are the most relatable keywords compared across all of the ASINs we put up here. So 7 out of the 9 that we listed above rank on these keywords. And you'll see, look how pretty spot on it is. So true CMOS, organic CMOS, yada, yada, yada. You get the point. So this is great words to throw in your title because it relates to your product. But you also want to keep in mind that you want a high IQ score. So maybe put the ones with the highest IQ score because there's not as many competitors, but it's still relatable to your product. So CMOS, boom, super high score. CMOS gel, regular CMOS, true CMOS. That might be a brand. So let's just ignore that if it's a brand. Let's ignore that. CMOS pills, if it's relatable, put it in. If you're not doing pills, don't put it in your title. But if it's MOS, CMOS, these are the ones you want to rank on. So this one has keyword sales 61. Maybe not put that one. But these, 1,000, this one's pretty good. Despite the search volume and Cerebro IQ being, pretty low compared to the search volume, the keyword sales are pretty good. So if you put in CMOS, MOS is going to be relatable to it. If you put in Irish CMOS, you're going to hit on all of these keywords essentially. So what I would do is maybe spell CMOS two different ways, one with a space, one without in your title, and then you hit both. Hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to go through this. ABA conversion share is basically the insights into the top 3 click products for each keyword. So 21% of the clicks, or 40% of the clicks are the top 3 ASINs, which is kind of good because the other 60% could go to the 4th, 5th, 6th place competitor. So that's not bad. CMOS pills go to the top 3. So this is something to keep in mind. Conversion share just shows you the conversion share. If you hover over all this, it'll tell you. Same thing applies with all this. We already explained it. Search volume trend, same thing. PPC, you always want to factor in PPC because if PPC costs $5 a click, like colostrum used to be, or $6 a click, like pre-workout used to be, or electrolytes or electrolyte supplements, you're not going to want to launch a product, even if it's a spinoff and it's the most revolutionary idea, because the keywords you're going to be ranking on are very, very expensive. So you have to factor that in. So if you don't have a 200 grand or 100 grand budget, don't launch a product in those categories. And this is what you should be factoring. And we can also, adjust these. You can customize it. You can export all this data. Same thing applies. You can copy these keywords, and then you would make basically a keyword called, 001 hero keywords. Boom, something like that. And then keep it there. You can add it to a keyword tracker. You could see the results changed over each and every day, which is cool. This is just 2 tools that we're going over today, but there are so many other tools that I use here. Keyword lists, profit dashboard, follow-up automation tool I use a lot. There's so much more in here that you can use. And Helium10 being, the price it is, plus the discount that's 35% off below, you are getting so much valuable insights on metrics that your brand's going to need for PPC, for listing data, for ranking better, so much more on top of that. Title density, like I said, very good info. Let's see, 5 people are doing CMOS pills on the first page of the results. 14 are doing CMOS gel. So maybe that could be an entry point. But you also want to look, is this IQ score good? Boom. Are people buying it? Yes. Good. Search volume is good. Maybe that's a keyword you would go plug in Magnet and just see CMOS gel and see what relates to it. And then there's so much more data here. Positions, ranks, relative ranks. You can see competitor ranks, ranking competitors, performance scores. You could see organic versus paid ranks. There's so much more that you can get into this. But let's say we want to find 5 out of the 9 above now and get into maybe more listing details, bullet points that relate to your product or stuff you want to throw in PPC. You want to try a lot of terms in PPC just to see what works. Just because 5 of the 9 above rank on it doesn't mean they're bad keywords. The other 4 could just be pills, and maybe they get different types of products or keywords. So now we're going to see a bunch of other stuff. We're going to see gummies. You're going to see a few other things. This is 2 extra keywords. Now let's see if we bring it down to 3. 41 keywords. So now these keywords have brand names in it. So you would want to get rid of this unless you're putting it in PPC. You could keep them for PPC. For the sake of this, I'm talking about listings, bullets, details, stuff like that. So maybe ignore this. Ashwagandha KSM66. That's just the type of ashwagandha. There's a few other types that are good that people might not know about. Burdock root's good. So there's a lot of stuff that, what you want to do is obviously play around with it, see what the search volume is. Just because the IQ score and the keyword sales being low doesn't mean your product won't convert. Just keep that in mind. If you think your product's going to convert, run PPC on it, see the results, and then dial up that PPC on that specific term or on that campaign. So perfect right here. IQ score is really good. People are searching for it. Gummies are good. CMOS is good. Black seed oil, so much other stuff that's good. But let's look at the PPC. A little expensive for black seed oil right now. For these 2, it's not terrible. You can see how many ASINs are on it. ashwagandha gummies is pretty low, but I'm sure that's going to go up. So this is what you would do. And I'm searching a term that's already viral, and some of this data is already still pretty good, like the search volume and the IQ score. But when you're finding something that's brand new, you're going to see outrageously high IQ scores, and that's a good sign because that means no one's really dove into it yet. And being one of those first to act and first to commerce for that product is very, very good. So this is how I would use Cerebro. This is how I would use Magnet in my day-to-day business. There's so many more tools that I would probably use that I do use, honestly. Like I said, black box is how you can find profitable products and maybe entry points. Same with Product Launchpad. Follow up, all of these I use on almost a daily basis when I'm putting in new PPC, new keywords, all this stuff. There's Listing Builder, which is basically what you would do is once you find your descriptions and bullet point keywords, you would go to the Listing Builder, which I should have here, but I already built out my listings. And basically you can optimize it with scribbles and add it to your Listing Builder and build out your keywords or build out your listings with AI and incorporate the keyword lists that you saved specific for your listings. So if you have 40 keywords to put into your listings, you're going to use Listings Builder, and that will be a video for another day. But that's pretty much everything that I'm going to go through in today's call for Cerebro and Magnet. If you want to see me do it on other keyword phrases, or if you want to hit me up, let me know. I can probably help you if I have time. Like I said, 35% off code is below. This is a limited time deal for my entire following, for the groups that I'm in, for the YouTube that I'll post this on, for all my socials that I'll post it on. If you're watching this today, if you've made it this far, thank you. Obviously, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if there's other areas of Helium 10 you want me to show you, or if there's other breakdowns you want me to show you. But this is pretty much how I would kind of do it. There's a few other filters in here that you can use, like phrases containing or excluding competing products, a bunch of other stuff. But you can also incorporate your PPC bid too if you want to filter that out. But what I like doing is kind of keeping it at those 3, maybe relative rank. So 4, maybe 5 keyword filters. But that's pretty much it for today. Like I said, give me a like, follow. Let me know if there's other videos you want me to do. But that's pretty much it for today. Thank you guys.